In global politics, new alliances can shift the balance of power, often in ways that are both unexpected and far-reaching. The emergence of new coalitions can reshape the world order, influencing everything from trade to security. BRICS, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa has become a major force on the world stage, uniting some of the largest and most dynamic economies outside the traditional Western sphere. Originally just an economic concept coined by a banker, BRICS now wields real political and economic influence, representing over 40% of the world's population and a significant share of global GDP. Their combined markets and resources make them a formidable group. Their annual summits and the creation of the new development bank signal a direct challenge to Western-dominated institutions like the IMF and World Bank, offering alternative sources of funding and development strategies. Each member brings unique strengths to the table. China's vast manufacturing power, India's rapidly growing tech sector, Russia's abundant energy resources, and Brazil's agricultural exports, while South Africa provides vital access to the African continent and its emerging markets, making BRICS truly global in reach. Their cooperation marks a move away from a US-dominated world, showing that these nations can act as a unified bloc with shared interests and growing influence. Today's coordinated tariff announcement is a bold demonstration of their power, signaling their willingness to take collective action on the world stage. The world is watching closely to see how the US and other Western powers will respond to this unprecedented challenge as the global balance of power continues to evolve. To grasp the BRICS move, you need to understand tariffs, taxes on imported goods. Tariffs protect local industries and can be used as political weapons, making foreign products more expensive. For example, a 10% tariff on a $1,000 US smartphone means it costs $1,100 in a BRICS country, making it less competitive. High tariffs can block imports almost entirely, sparking trade wars as countries retaliate. Historically, the world moved toward lower tariffs and freer trade, believing it brought prosperity. Organizations like the WTO were created to support this vision. The BRICS tariff is a sharp reversal, signaling a shift toward protectionism and challenging decades of global economic policy. This move could reshape the entire system of international trade. A 100% tariff is an economic sledgehammer, doubling the price of every US product entering BRICS markets. An American tractor sold to Brazil for $50,000 now costs $100,000 after the tariff, making it unsellable. The goal isn't just to make US goods less competitive, it's to remove them from the market. Local and non-US competitors will quickly fill the gap. The tariff covers everything: food, tech, machinery, pharmaceuticals, and iconic brands. For US companies relying on BRICS markets, this is catastrophic. Blanket tariffs of this scale are almost unheard of and signal a total breakdown in trade relations. The BRICS bloc is sending a clear, forceful message to Washington. And the impact will ripple through the US economy, hitting exporters first and hardest. Farmers, tech firms, and manufacturers will lose key markets overnight, leading to layoffs and lost revenue. Small businesses, lacking resources to adapt, may face bankruptcy. The pain will spread as struggling companies cut orders, affecting suppliers and communities nationwide. US consumers will feel it too. Higher prices as supply chains are disrupted and retaliatory tariffs drive up costs. Everyday items like smartphones, coffee, and clothing could become more expensive. In the short term, job losses. In the long term, a higher cost of living. The global trade system Americans depend on is fracturing. The consequences will be felt far beyond the boardroom. The BRICS decision is rooted in years of mounting frustration with US dominance in global finance and trade. For a long time, these countries have felt sidelined by a system that seems to favor American interests above all others, leaving emerging economies with little say in how the rules are set. They see the US dollar's power as a tool of coercion, especially through sanctions that can cripple economies and restrict access to global markets. Recent US trade policies and sanctions against BRICS members were viewed as deliberate attempts to contain their rise and limit their influence on the world stage. The unified tariff is a show of solidarity and defiance, a coordinated pushback against what they see as American unilateralism and overreach. BRICS is betting that this economic pain will force the US to come to the table and negotiate on more equal terms, rather than dictating the agenda. It's also about accelerating de-dollarization, encouraging trade in their own currencies, and reducing reliance on the dollar for international transactions. The tariff isn't just about blocking US goods. It's about building new economic pathways, forging alternative alliances, and creating trade routes that bypass the dollar entirely. This is a strategic move to reshape the global order, challenging the status quo and demanding a seat at the table for emerging powers. Ultimately, BRICS wants a world where their interests can't be ignored, and where global decisions reflect a broader range of voices and priorities. The sudden implementation of the BRICS tariff has jolted Washington, sending shockwaves through the halls of power and triggering a flurry of emergency meetings. Business leaders, caught off guard, are issuing urgent statements and demanding clarity as uncertainty ripples through the economy. Now, the US government faces a stark and pivotal choice. Should it retaliate with its own tariffs, risking escalation, or seek a diplomatic solution that could require compromise but offer stability? Retaliation could quickly escalate the trade war, leading to higher prices for everyday goods, market turmoil, and even the risk of a global recession that would impact millions of lives. On the other hand, choosing diplomacy would mean entering tough, high-stakes negotiations and possibly making difficult concessions. Yet, it could also de-escalate the crisis and restore some measure of global economic stability. Meanwhile, American businesses, large and small, find themselves caught in the crossfire. They are demanding swift action from leaders, but also fear the devastating fallout of a prolonged conflict that could threaten jobs and livelihoods. The debate in Washington is fierce and deeply divided. Should the nation show strength and stand firm, or seek compromise and avoid further damage? The stakes could not be higher. America's economic future, its global influence, and its leadership role in the world all hang in the balance at this critical moment. Every possible option carries significant risk, and the world is watching closely, waiting to see which path the United States will choose. The US stands at a historic crossroads, forced to decide between confrontation and cooperation, with consequences that will echo for years to come. The outcome of this moment will not only shape America's destiny, but also define the next era of global leadership and international relations. The BRICS tariff could mark a significant turning point for the global economy. If the US retaliates, the world may split into rival blocs, unraveling decades of globalization and cooperation. Companies and countries would be forced to pick sides, fueling instability and widespread economic pain. Alternatively, this crisis could push all sides to negotiate a new, more balanced global order that would require compromise and a willingness to share power and responsibility. The future is uncertain. Free trade as we know it may truly be ending. The choices made now will shape the world for many decades. The world holds its breath, waiting for what comes next.